Hello. Today we're gonna do a little vinyl update. If you haven't seen my other record collection content, I will link my most recent video somewhere up here, and I will put the full playlist down in the description. I've been so excited to make this video because I've picked up a lot of awesome stuff since January, which is the last time you saw my collection. Like before, I'm just gonna show everything alphabetically by the artist's name, and then at the very end I'm gonna show the 7 inches I've gotten. So without further ado, let's get to it. This first record is one that I'm so pumped about, and it is House of Sugar by Alex G. This one was actually a surprise gift from one of my friends, which was perfect timing because I was about to buy it for myself. So I am so grateful to have this. It is the Turntable Lab repress on this like super bright red vinyl that matches the girl's dress on the cover so perfectly and was limited to 1,000 pressings. This is one of my favorite Alex G albums, so it's hard to pick a favorite, but I'm gonna have to go with Griddle. Next we have another really cool Alex G release, his Live from Union Transfer vinyl, and this album rocks. I'm so happy to have it, especially because it's not available to stream anywhere online. And this is on a super cool opaque tangerine colored vinyl. And my favorite track off of this is Forgive, because oh my god. On God Save the Animals, that song never stood out to me, but in this version, this live version, it is brain explodingly good. Next we have an album that literally everyone is talking about, and for good reason. The Record by Boy Genius. In my last vinyl collection video I was talking about how excited I was for this, and now it's in my hands. This album has made me cry copious amounts of tears. I got to see them live for my birthday. It was life-changing. I've quite honestly never cried so long at a concert before. From almost the first song to the last. It was like having an exorcism. I do have to say though, I am more partial to the original EP. I think I like it better, but this is still so amazing. And I have the Target exclusive on this Orange Crush like marble vinyl. I was actually kind of disappointed with the web store exclusive pressings. I think the mock-ups look better than the actual vinyl, but Target came through. The orange pressing is a masterpiece. And my favorite track changes every single day because I listen to it every single day, but probably Revolution Zero or Letter to an Old Poet. Next up we have kind of a niche one, but it is Daniel Johnston. This is actually a compilation album called Welcome to My World. I don't usually like compilation albums, but this one was just too gorgeous to pass up on. It's got this absolutely stunning gatefold with a bunch of Daniel Johnston's original artwork on it, and this super detailed, really thoughtful lyric booklet on the inside. It comes on 2 super beautiful transparent colors. We've got this pink one and this bluish pastel-y teal vinyl. And my favorite track on that is probably Story of an Artist, because it's the song that introduced me to Daniel Johnston. Next we have one that I waited like 4 hours in line for at my local record store on record store day, and that is Dodie's Hot Mess. I was so convinced, like I was 100% sure that they wouldn't have it by the time I got there, because I got there hours early and I was still so like halfway around the building in line. But as I got to the records, I started sifting through. I was like, there's no way it's here. I grabbed the last copy. It was maybe the best record store day of my life, just due to the pure euphoria of grabbing the last copy available. Plus, I love Hot Mess. This is my favorite project that Dodie's ever done, and it comes on this beautiful clear, it has like a slight grayish swirl, and it's a little blue almost. Probably my favorite clear vinyl in my collection, and my favorite track is Hot Mess. Then I impulse grabbed Fade into the Dawn by Field Medic, because just as I was starting to get into him, I found this used vinyl at that same local record store. And this album is on a blue and black smoke pressing. My favorite track off of this is Songs Are Worthless Now. Next up we have an album by an Australian band called the Goon Sax. They are unfortunately broken up, but I love them. The album has this really cool sleeve situation where it fits in like a frame. These cool Goon Sax stickers and this little signed photograph. And this one is pressed on this pure opaque white vinyl. My favorite track is, I'm trying to remember the name. I'll put it here. It's the one that's like, didn't have to sound so disappointed when I called. That one. Put it here. Then we have an album by the band on my t-shirt, Godcaster. They're self-titled Godcaster. I love Godcaster so much. Like, I drink the Kool-Aid for them. I'm obsessed with them. And I was so excited for this album to come out because I saw them live a bunch and I heard all these songs before they were released and they were amazing. But I have to be honest, the mixing of the studio recordings of this album are not good. Some of the songs are so quiet compared to others, and sometimes the vocals are so hard to hear over the instruments, and it makes it a hard listen. So even though I love this band and I love these songs, I really haven't spun this one very much because the mixing was kind of offensive to me. And this is on a very cool semi-clear vinyl. My favorite track off that album is Pluto Shoots His Gaze Into the Sun. Every time I hear that track, I physically ascend. I feel myself levitating. The next album I have you might actually recognize because I had another variant of it in one of my old record videos, and that is Indigo D'Souza's I Love My Mom. I had to pick up another copy because she repressed it on this super cool, like purple, blue, pink marbled vinyl that is absolutely to die for. And my favorite track is What Are We Gonna Do Now? Then I have a much more exciting Indigo release, her newest album, All of This Will End. I got this album in the mail a couple days before the album officially released on streaming services, and when I first listened to it, I was very underwhelmed. I don't know why, even though I loved the singles, like, it didn't click with me. But the longer I sat with this album, the more I loved it. It grew on me so much. This album really is fantastic. For me, it's in the running for Best Album of the Year. And I got it on the Burning Saturn variant, which is like a yellow in red smash pressing. And my favorite track off of this, which is so hard to pick because there's so many good ones, is gonna have to be Not My Body. That one blew me away the first time I really sat down to listen to it. Next we have one of my favorite vinyl in my whole collection. Julian Baker's Little Oblivions. I am nothing if not a Julian Baker girly. When I went to visit my friend in New York at the end of last month, the entire train ride there, this album was on repeat. And this is the stunning pressing that it is on. I'm not really an audiophile, but I do like albums that sound good. And this album is one of the best sounding vinyl I have. If you can get your hands on it, I could not recommend it anymore. And my favorite track is either Bloodshot or Faith Healer. Next up we have an artist's debut album that I could not be more impressed by. Miss Kara Jackson's Why Does the Earth Give Us People to Love. This is a gut-wrenching album, but also somehow manages to be kind of funny. Her lyrics are just so intelligent and the arrangements are so beautiful. I just cannot believe that's her debut. I know technically she's released music before, but never a full-length album, and I highly recommend giving it a listen if you haven't. I was lucky enough to get a signed copy from Rough Trade, and it's on this really gorgeous purpley pinkish vinyl. And my favorite track is either the title track, Why Does the Earth Give Us People to Love, or Dickhead Blues. Next up we have another very exciting repress, which is Lucy Dacus's Historian. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, so I was very happy to get it on a new colored pressing. Ooh, yeah, it's just an opaque red vinyl. And it has this very cool alternate artwork for the cover. My favorite track is literally impossible to pick. Don't ask me, because I can't. But also I will, it's Body to Flame. But also I won't because it changes. Let's just put Body to Flame for now. Next up we have Maya Hawke's Blush. I think I actually like it more than her new album Moss, so I was very excited that they decided to repress this. It was an Urban Outfitters exclusive, and it's on this very pretty, clear, candy-like blue vinyl. And my favorite track is Animal Enough. Then we have Mitski's Laurel Hell. You might remember that I actually already have this album, but Japan's Record Store Day had an exclusive pressing that was so stunning, I had to pick it up. And it is this black and white splatter pressing. It also comes with a little obi, which I thought was very cute. Though I do think it's kind of annoying that it's not really a Japanese pressing. Like, it was a Japanese release, but it was pressed in the Czech Republic. And I will be selling my other variants, so if you're looking for some Mitski vinyl, I'll put my Depop and my Discogs in the description. And my favorite track is I Guess. Next we have such an exciting release that, as I'm filming this, only came out a couple days ago on the 14th. Palehound's Eye on the Bat. I was first introduced to El Kempner when Lucy Dacus reposted one of the singles that they released for this new album. It was called The Clutch, and I listened to it, and I fell head over heels. I was so obsessed, and have been avidly consuming the singles as they come out and anxiously awaiting the full album. I snagged this vinyl up so quick, and I was not disappointed. The full album is amazing. Side B is so good. Like, the last 3 songs are just like a rock opera. They blend into each other so good. And it's on this super cool, I believe it was poly vinyl. This was their early bird pressing, limited to 400. And I'm not sure what my favorite track is because the songs have only been out for a couple days, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Head Like Soup. Next up we have an oldie. We've got Fish, Farmhouse. This was actually one that my mom bought because when I was growing up, every time we'd go to the beach, my parents would put on Farmhouse. So when Fish did a repress of it, my family snagged it up so quick. And it is on this jaw-droppingly gorgeous, like, green in blue blob. And my favorite track is Dirt. We are nearing the end of the 12-inch vinyl, and yet I'm not any less excited to share this next one, which is Power Bottom's Ugly Cherries. I know this band is kind of controversial nowadays, but this album was very, very important to me. I started learning bass to these songs and girl pool songs, so I really wanted a way to listen to it without the original artist profiting by streaming it or whatever. So I got this vinyl secondhand and on this super cool purple and clear blob. I had been searching for this variant for over a year and finally found it for a pretty decent price. It was kind of more than I wanted to pay, but it wasn't anything crazy. It was 30 bucks. That's not crazy, but I just, I'm cheap. And my favorite track is probably West Texas. And last, an album that is in the running as best album of the year for me. Wednesday's Rat Saw God. This album is so good and just like chameleons through genres so skillfully. And I got it on this amazing pressing. It was a Vinyl Me Please exclusive, which I wasn't happy about because Vinyl Me Please is so expensive. But look. It's a yellow and purple little splatter on clear pressing. This is also numbered, so I have 292 of 500. And it comes with this gorgeous lyric booklet. I think probably the nicest in my collection. Very detailed and has these beautiful thick pages. I just love it when artists are thoughtful enough to include really cool stuff like that. And my favorite track, once again impossible to pick, is Turkey Vultures. So that's it for the full-length albums, but I've still got some 7 inches that we gotta get through. Up first is I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Andrew Bird. I already love Andrew Bird. I think he is such a talented musician and composer, but I especially had to snag this one because Phoebe Bridgers features on it. When this song first came out, I listened to it an infinite amount of times. It's so gorgeous. And this little 7-inch is pressed on red. If the angle looks like it just changed, that is because it did. My card ran out of storage, but we're back. And as I was saying, there is technically a B-side to this, a song called The Twistable Turnable Man Returns, but I'm gonna have to choose I Felt a Funeral as my favorite track. Next up we have Big Thief's Mythological Beauty. The B-side is Breathe in My Lungs, and this is on a charcoal gray pressing. I'll be honest, this one was a little overpriced, but I'm such a Big Thief simp that I don't even mind. And my favorite track is the title track, Mythological Beauty. Next we have something that technically isn't a 7-inch, but I had nowhere else to include it, a flexi disc. This is Your Heart by Girlpool. Here's the front, and the back has little drawings on it. I only picked this up because I'm a Girlpool diehard, and I saw it was like $3 or something, and I was like, oh, cool. Let me snag this. But it's so much cooler than I thought it could have been. I believed it was going to be just a single of Your Heart, but it's actually this really intimate acoustic performance of it, so I'm very happy to have this. Then another one of my favorite pickups, Julian Baker, Red Door. This was a 2019 Record Store Day exclusive. I had to pick it up because I love Red Door and I found it at a super good price. And this is pressed on a red vinyl as well. The B-side of this is Conversation Piece, but Red Door takes the cake as my favorite. And last but not least was the only other thing I picked up at Record Store Day this year, which is Maya Hawke's To Love a Boy. I was so excited to have this. I love this song. It's one of the songs that made me fall in love with Maya Hawke. It means so much to me, and I've performed it live when I do open mics and stuff, but now here we are. The B-side of this is Stay Open, but you know which one's my favorite. I already told you. It's To Love a Boy. So yeah, that's my vinyl update. I'm so happy to share this with you guys. Let me know which ones are your favorites. Let me know if there's any other vinyl content you want me to film. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a Depop and a Discogs. I'm selling a couple vinyl that I did not show in today's video. If you're interested, both will be in the description below. And thank you so much for watching.